Playoff season's in the air. Let's talk about some waiver wire pickups for week 20. First, I want to talk about Delano Banton. Banton is rostered in 37% of leagues, and he was acquired by the Blazers from the Celtics at the trade deadline. And over his first few seasons in the league, he's had trouble catching on. He was first with the Raptors and then the Celtics, but it looks like he's found a home in Portland. The Blazers have been decimated by injuries this year, affording players like Banton minutes they otherwise wouldn't get. And Scoot Henderson has missed 8 of the last 9 games with an abductor strain, and Delano has taken full advantage. He's definitely opened both Chauncey Billups and the coaching staff's eyes, and I think whether or not Scoot Henderson returns to the starting lineup, Banton should have a role moving forward. Over his last 4 games, he's averaged nearly 36 minutes per night, and he's scored 21.5 points. He's averaged nearly 7 rebounds. He's dished out nearly 4.5 assists. He's gotten 1.1 stocks, and he's drained 3 3-pointers per matchup. And I don't think these numbers are sustainable, but I think even if he gets close to this production, he's definitely going to have a strong finish. I think he's a prime silly season candidate, and even if the Blazers do get healthier down the stretch, I think he's still going to get a look. They traded for him for a reason. The Blazers play 4 times this week, which is just another reason to pick him up. And like I mentioned, Scoot Henderson did rejoin the lineup this last game, but he's going to be on a minute restriction for the foreseeable future, so Banton should at least have heavy minutes for the rest of this week. But like I mentioned, he's been playing too well for Chauncey Billups to completely take him out of the rotation. Next, I want to talk about Vasilije Micic. Micic is rostered in 25% of leagues, and he was part of that Gordon Hayward package. He didn't really have much playing time behind SGA and Josh Giddey, and even Jalen Williams, but in Charlotte, it's been a different story. He's nearly doubled his playing time and production across the board. He's seen an even bigger uptick in his workload this past week with Tre Mann out of the lineup with a groin strain, and he is yet to return to the lineup. He's averaged around 15 points, he's grabbed 4 rebounds, dished out nearly 6 assists, and has grabbed about 1 steal per night, and has knocked down half a 3 per game. As it currently stands, there is very little depth at point guard behind Micic. LaMelo Ball has not played a game since January 26th, and it looks like he's going to be a shutdown candidate. And the Hornets are looking like they're going through a transition. They traded away PJ Washington, Terry Rozier, and even Gordon Hayward, so it wouldn't be shocking to see players like Micic get a look down the stretch. The Hornets also play 4 times this week, which is another great reason to pick him up, and it'll be interesting to see how the minutes are divvied up between him and Tre Mann once Tre Mann returns to the lineup. Whatever the case, I think Micic's role will still be large. I should mention that he is a little bit turnover prone, so factor that in if you do want to pick him up. That's largely because he hasn't been a primary ball handler for all that long, but I expect him to clean that up as the days go on. At this point, he's more of a low-end point guard pickup in deeper leagues, but given his opportunity this week, I think he's definitely worth streaming at the least. Next, I want to talk about Jake LaRavia. It is no secret that the Grizzlies have been behind the 8 ball from the beginning of this year, starting with the Ja Morant suspension, and then you throw in a bunch of trades, a flurry of injuries, and you get guys like LaRavia getting an opportunity. In his last 4 games, he's averaged around 28 minutes per night, and he scored around 15 points, grabbed 7 rebounds, he's dished out 2.5 assists, and he's also gotten 2 steals, 1 block, and he's made 1.5 threes per game. So he's a multi-category producer. I do want to mention that his value is largely attached to the health of Vince Williams, Concher, and even Jordan Goodwin. If those guys are able to find their way back into the lineup, LaRavia will probably take a small hit. The Grizzlies played 3 times this week, and as of now, the 3 players I just mentioned have not been cleared to play in the game, so LaRavia might be a good streaming option this week. I would keep a close eye on the health of the front court like I mentioned, but he's worth a look in deeper leagues. Lastly, I want to talk about a speculative ad, Jock Landale. Alperen Sengun went down with an ankle injury, and it looked really bad yesterday. He had to leave the court in a wheelchair, so while there is no official word, it does look like he's going to miss some time. And I think Landale is the obvious pickup. He's next on the depth chart. Now, it's hard to say what his production is going to be, but he's definitely going to get some opportunity. If you're an aggressive fantasy manager, I would pick him up now. Those are some waiver wire pickups for week 20. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and let me know your thoughts on the fantasy playoffs in the comments below.